Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and I am so excited to be here. Not because I'm alone, I'm kind of sad about that, but it's because I get to come here and I get to talk about credit card credits and how to get the most amount of value out of them. And so it's kind of the end of the year, right? There's only a couple days left in the year, and you have a couple days left to get maximum value from some of these things. So I figured today would be the day to talk about, well, what I did yesterday. And so for those of you that are just now joining us and new to the channel, I recently acquired a second business platinum card. So I have a personal platinum card and two business platinum cards, primarily because I hate myself and my wallet, but also because I really love American Express benefits, and well, those sign-up bonuses are pretty great. So if you'll notice, though, that means that I have three fine hotels and resorts credits, and that means that I have up to, so let's say $300 times three, that's $900 that I get to save on hotels for the next couple days, right? If I haven't used them. So that's what I'm going to be talking about to start off, and then we can talk about kind of any of the credits that you guys want to talk about. I will kind of preface this by saying that I'm not necessarily a gift card person, so my answer will never be just get a gift card, and primarily because that's increasingly becoming less ideal for getting some of those value. And so we're going to talk about kind of the real world way that I'm using some of these credits and talk about how I can actually move them and kind of even roll them into the future just a little bit. So let's take a look at the fine hotels and resorts kind of credit. So this is through American Express on the personal platinum and the business platinum. So these particular cards come with $300 every 6 months for a grand total of $600. Math is hard for the year. And so this actually, I was able to pull the trigger on a booking that I'm making in November, where my family and some friends of ours are going to Edinburgh, Scotland. Now, we were tracking the Caledonian, which actually used to be the Waldorf property in Edinburgh, but it became kind of a curio collection, but it still kind of kept the high prices and the high, fees and everything. And so we were kind of looking at that. We were hoping to do that, but recently, for some reason, the per night room went from like $300 to $400 a night to like $700 or $800 a night. And so that wasn't kind of feasible for our budget and what we were planning. And so what we ended up actually doing is we booked the Kimpton in Edinburgh. And that one was, I think it was like $450 a night or something. And of course we had to get a family room. So we had to go up a little bit higher to get a family room that sleeps three people because, well, my wife and I are going to have Wells by then. And then the family that we're going to be traveling with, they're going to have their son as well. And so we needed to have kind of a hotel that was able to actually have three people on the reservation per room in order to actually make this work. And so that was another reason why we chose the Kimpton. But anyway, so what I did was I went and so we're staying there for 3 nights, which kind of made it easy. And I actually, for the first night, I booked it with my personal platinum card. And so I booked it with, so I ended up doing $350 on cash, like on the card, and then I did the rest with American Express points, which means it only got about 1 cent per point for those Amex points. But I wanted to at least do it to say that I did it, and also to kind of make it a little bit cash neutral for this booking. And so just in full, like I made a bad redemption, but I did it for you guys. Right. But anyway, so the next night I pulled out my business platinum card and I went through, made sure to pick the exact same room class, make sure to pick 3 people, 1 baby, 2 adults in the room. And then I used my business platinum card, right? And I did the same thing. And then for the third and final night, I made sure to pick the same room type, the same everything. And then I made the booking on my second business platinum. And so what that did is that meant that I saved about $900 on hotel bookings yesterday. And another interesting kind of curveball here is that we're actually going to be bringing a friend with us to watch the kids whenever we need to go out and do kind of outings and things like that. And so so we have to actually book another room for this person. And so I'm going to be doing the exact same process again in January with the next 6 months. And so that's kind of how I've been able to do that. Now, one of the fun things about this, I'm telling you, we only have a couple days left in this year, right? But I made the booking yesterday, so Friday. Saturday, those bookings had already posted to my American Express accounts, and then I also got email notifications from American Express 3 different times that I actually triggered that $300 travel credit. And so just to let you guys know, those bookings, they hit your account fast, right? Which means if you haven't used your Fine Hotels and Resorts booking, you can still do so. And now keep in mind, this is for a booking that's in November of next year. And so, it's far out, right? So you can actually, you don't have to stay in a booking over the next week, right? You can, as long as you pay for it now on the card, you can book that value down the road. So let's say if you're planning a summer vacation, that is a great way to do it, stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, just first of all, I want to highlight some really awesome people. Glenn Turin is a new channel member. Thanks so much for being a member. I really appreciate you. You are incredible. And then Credit Card Connection was here earlier in the chat. What's up, Phillip? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks so much, Joe. You are awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. But I also want to make sure we talk about Vincent Pasquale. So thanks so much for the 5 spot. You are incredible. You say, hey, Phillip, what's up? Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you as well. It's been an awesome ride getting ready for the baby. Our Christmas was very kind of baby centric. We bought a lot of baby clothes. We have like 4 pairs of baby jeans now, which, I never really thought about babies wearing jeans, but we're set. So that's awesome. And then, of course, I'm thanking everybody. Cultures is here saying, hey, friends. Green Knight is here. Thanks so much for being here. And, of course, Chad's Money Minutes is here. Chad, I was actually just watching your live. That's actually why I was about a minute late, because I got caught up in watching your live that you did earlier today. So thanks so much for stopping by. Dim is here. Thanks so much for being here, Dim, one of the longtime supporters of the channel. Vincent, hey, Vincent, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much again, Vincent. I really appreciate you being here. And then we got Michael Simpson. Hey, Phillip, hoping your family had a great Christmas. Did you get any new credit cards under the tree? Yeah, so my most recent credit card was actually my Business Platinum card. But I actually did get a new card. It's not a credit card, but I did get the new Robinhood, was it private banking debit card? It's just a standard checking account. It kind of works like SoFi in that you actually have to you have to do direct deposit, and then that direct deposit has to go through in order for you to get the benefits, which the benefits are only kind of higher, APRs on the savings account and things like that. And so, it's nice. I may not keep it. They did give me the free debit card, which is actually kind of nice. I will never ever use this card, but it does look nice. So this is my last card that I got, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. So no new credit cards. I've kind of decided, I was talking a little bit about this with Anthony. So I was talking about, there's a new card that I'm going to be discussing on a video either tomorrow or Monday, that the same people behind the Mesa card actually came out with a new card. And Anthony was asking me if I was going to apply for it. And I think that I'm just going to have to be a little good this year, because I really want to be able to get the Built 2.0 card. And so I don't think I'm going to be getting any more personal cards between now and when that happens, just to kind of goose my numbers a little bit. But yeah, what about you, Michael? Did you get any new cards? If anybody did get a new card this week, please let me know too. I have to say, I think I probably mentioned this already. I was really looking at Uncle Luke's live stream. I think it was last week, where he was talking about the Morgan Stanley Platinum card. I was like, oh man, do I want to double dip on another Platinum card? But it's too much. It's too much. Even if I did get the sign up bonus, which you can still get the sign up bonus, and if I cash it out at 1 cent per point, I would be able to at least hit the annual fee. And so it would be purely gravy at that point, but I still decided it was going to be a little bit too much for me. Okay, great questions. Okay, so Lenora, thanks so much for being here. Lenora Wade, hey friends, yeah. It's funny. So when I first started this YouTube thing, I was like, well, I kind of want to have like a catchphrase, and I figured, hey, that might be a cool thing to be known for. So no, people are noticing. LG, oh, you already were here. Oh, I'm sorry. I hate getting to meet up with you while I was in Orlando. Those few days flew by quickly. Universal beat us up. We'll be back in February, and would like to then, if you're free, absolutely, LG. My email address should be in the description here, so definitely feel free to do that. We really, would love to meet you. Yeah, we'd love to meet anybody. And so, yeah, just email me and we'll put something together. Thanks so much. But yeah, Universal can take it out of you, especially with all 3 parks. Like I've heard, I haven't been to Epic Universe yet, but I have heard that car or that park is kind of particularly a little abusive, because it's kind of, there's not really any shade. There's not really a lot of places to kind of recuperate. And so, it can be a little tiring, but yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that you were able to make it to Orlando. LG, what hotel did you stay at? I'm really curious because I want to stay at one of the Universal hotels, and I haven't ever pulled the trigger, and I'm just not sure which one's worth my time. Honestly, I mean, a lot of them are pretty expensive, but I haven't done anything on that yet. Matt Darling, yeah, okay. Do you get $100 FHR hotel credit for back-to-back bookings each night? Yeah, so that is kind of going to be the key consideration here. So what I am going to do is I'm going to call the hotel and kind of just merge the bookings if I can. For two reasons. So one, I really like being able to track things in the app. I like being able to kind of verify with the hotel that they actually have the reservation. But I also kind of don't really care so much about getting like $300 of the FHR credit because, well, we're not going to really do that much in the hotel anyway. We already get the free breakfast. And so a lot of us are going to be kind of going out and doing things and kind of eating out in Edinburgh. And so I really don't see us using it that much. And the Kimpton doesn't really have that good of a spa program and things like that. So I really don't foresee us needing it, honestly, but I would not expect it. It is. I have heard some things on Flyer Talk where people are like, sometimes you can get away with it, but I think it's like because it's all under my name. I think it will just be kind of they'll merge it together, and I'll just get the $100 FHR credit. And so that's not something I really care about that much, just because I'm saving $900 by booking it this way, and so that's solid. And we might actually use a Fine Hotels and Resorts credit again with the Conrad. We're going to be staying at the Conrad in London again, and so we actually will be paying probably in cash for that. Although we can redeem some points, actually, that might be helpful. And so, I'm not really that beat up about it, but I definitely am not expecting to get $300 in FHR, the hotel credits. So, it is what it is. I'm just happy that I was able to at least get the $900 off of that booking because those hotels, because they show it to you in pounds, right? And you're like, oh, that can't be that much. It's a lot more in dollars. So that's always kind of a nice little shock. Juan, thanks so much for being here. Hey, friends. Juan from the MIA here. Thank you, Phillip, for your content and perspective. Many blessings to you and your family and a prosperous 2026. Thank you so much, Juan. That is incredible. Love being able to see Juan at, I think I think Juan was at the meetup, and so that was really nice. And of course, Vincent was also there. I don't know if Vincent was there, but he's here in the chat. So thanks so much. Dem saying Edinburgh is awesome. You love it. Make sure you tour the Highland. Actually, Dem, so that's another reason why I'm going to be spending a little bit more money on my One Key card. And that's because my family and I were going to be renting. We could either rent kind of a passenger van, or we might actually just get two different cards. But we're going to be staying at a house on kind of overlooking an ocean or a lake or something in the Highlands. And so we're going to go to the Isle of Skye, and we're just going to kind of drive around for a couple days after Edinburgh. So I definitely want to make sure we do that. And then I also definitely really want to make sure we do kind of tour some sort of a Scotch distillery or something. That would be really, really cool. Just because, we went to Louisville in Kentucky, and we got to see a lot of kind of the bourbon places, and that was really kind of very fascinating to see kind of how dedicated they are to their craft. That's actually where I got this fun little Four Roses glass here. That was part of the tour. They gave it to you, and so that was nice. And so we really want to see kind of at least one of those places. And honestly, it could be good to play some golf there. I don't know if we'll have time, but that would be really cool to play a little bit of golf in Scotland. All right, Michael, I did have a new card arrive. I got the USAA Cashback Rewards Plus Amex card. I'll be waiting for the Built card now, too. That is amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. I don't know if that's the exact one that I have, but I do have a USAA Cashback card, and I actually do like it. I will say that having USAA is kind of really nice, actually. They're really on top of it. Here's mine here. And so this one, I really like this card. The only kind of experience I had with this over the past year was that I had, for some reason, somebody was using it for transit purchases in New York City. And so it was definitely kind of not something that I was a part of or something that I did. And so I ended up actually basically just calling them up, be like, hey, these purchases aren't mine. They reversed it immediately, overnighted me a new card, and I don't really use this card very often anymore. I actually got it for a balance transfer, but it's a solid card. I love USAA, so I'm glad to hear that someone else does it as well. Corky's here. Thanks so much, Corky. Appreciate you. And he's saying, I heard Universal Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel is a great hotel and it gives you Fast Pass, excluding Epic Universe. Yeah, that is one of the things that I will say about Universal. They really they really make it a lot easier to get a lot of value from the parks, right, with this particular program. And I think they're actually, that one is in the Orlando Fine Hotels and Resorts thing, actually. If I had to remember, let me see if I can look and see how much it is. It definitely is kind of expensive for that one, but it's a nice one. That one and the Hard Rock is also kind of expensive too. But all right, let's take a look here. I'm doing some searching. All right, so I'm just searching Orlando. Let's see here. Conrad, of course, the Conrad's really nice. The Waldorf is also really nice. Yeah, here we go. So average room per night, $567 per night. That's actually not bad for that hotel, honestly. And if I could use it, so it's Fine Hotels and Resorts, you can actually, wow, you can stay one night. I might have to do this with my Fine Hotels and Resorts because, honestly, $300 off of that price ticket actually brings it kind of in range. And if you are going to be doing something that might not be so bad, honestly, I need to zoom out a little bit. This is kind of crazy. Yeah, there we go. And then, of course, we got the Ritz, $2,600 a night. The Four Seasons, $1,500 a night. So, some of the hotels are a little bit more expensive. And then, of course, the Sapphire Falls Resort's $300 a night-ish. So that's not bad either. But no, yeah, I really love the Portofino Bay Hotel. Looks really, really good. I'm really excited about that one. Yeah, and it's Fine Hotels, Corky. Yeah. We did a few whiskey tours while we were there. Let me know if you had like some suggestions. They'll lecture you on the difference between whiskey and whiskey. Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah. Nice. That is awesome. Yeah, no, I definitely, if you have some suggestions, I would love to hear it. Yeah. Source King, bit of a gamble. I overpaid my taxes to meet Amex Biz Gold sub. Now I just need the IRS to work quickly so I get my refund before balances too. Yeah. That's pretty good. American Express is pretty good, at least for the first thing. Like they'll give you like an actual decent amount of time to pay that back. And so, yeah, here's hoping that works out. That would actually not be bad. Matt, USAA car insurance is so much cheaper than any other. It's not even funny. Yes. That is who we've had for car insurance. And so one of the things that like I grew up kind of from a poor background, right? And so when my mom and we had car insurance, it was like the bare legal minimum, right? It was not like the nice coverage. Jen comes from a family that like they get like the full coverage for car insurance. And so that's actually like, it is surprising because we got the full amount where they give you an extra 20% back on value if you total the car, the whole 9 yards. And it's definitely cheaper than anybody else. It's not that bad. All right, KRS, the Amex transfer bonus for 40% to Virgin Atlantic is hard to pass up, even if you're transferring speculatively. The bonus ends on December 31st. Yeah, so KRS, this one here, I really have been doing a lot of thinking. So I have about 500,000 MR points left. So I've already made a couple of bookings. So I booked some hotels and I booked some flights. I had to transfer, I think it was 44,000 points to British Airways to do a premium economy seat for the friend that's going to be coming to babysit. And I transferred famously the 126,000 Mesa points to Cathay Pacific for our British Airways business class seats. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. But on the way back, I've really kind of been thinking about, do I just want to transfer some MR points to Virgin and book business class tickets, even though it'll cost us I want to say $1,400 in taxes and fees, or I could use a lot more points and save a lot more money. So it's like, Virgin is good because they are the cheapest international flights in the game when it comes to points, especially specifically if you can get those saver fares. It's just those taxes and fees. They're not as high as British Airways, but they are still pretty high. So that's kind of frustrating. But yeah. Okay. We have some good questions here. But yeah, no. Back to this. I may, if I make my business class booking, I may transfer a couple there just because I like to use a Virgin to actually book Delta flights. That's always fun too. And so that's I I've been kind of struggling with this myself because I'm in the position where I could theoretically use them for a booking that I'm making in the next week or two. But it's just like by making that booking, it is a lot more, particularly in tax and fees coming back. So if I'm flying from Heathrow or even Manchester into the United States, those tax and fees, they go up a lot higher than they are going into London or Manchester. And so, you know, it would save me a lot of points, but I'd have to have real world dollars right now. In theory, right, I could, have that covered with points, but that's not really the best value. So yeah, I may actually have to go back through and just like maybe even book Cathay Pacific, British Airways again. But, even like, here's the thing, those Virgin voyages are worth it. Like if you actually can like having a 40% bonus to make that, 3 or 400,000 point like redemption, that would really change the game. If I was doing a Virgin Voyages soon and I knew exactly which one I was going to be booking, that is what I would be using those points for. But yeah, no, that's a hard one. I still haven't. I haven't decided officially yet if I'm going to, but that's kind of a biggie for me. Hey, Matt, hey friends, yeah, thanks so much. LG, I'll definitely let you know the name of the hotel. So question for you. My dad is listening and wanted to ask, what card do you recommend for grocery and online shopping? Okay. Interesting. Okay. So yeah. So it completely depends on if your dad is team cashback or points, right? And if he is points, which I feel he may be if you're asking this question here, the question is, do you want to travel domestically or internationally, right? Because if it's domestically, I would probably honestly say try to get, something with Chase or with Citi, right? Just because those are easy to make bookings domestically and get decent value out of, right? You have Southwest, you have United, and then you have Hyatt with Chase. And then with Citi, you have access to the I Prefer program, which they don't have a lot of hotels, but they do have a lot of really good hotels and redemptions. And you can get like a $300 or $400 a night room for like 12,000, 13,000 Citi points per night. And so that's really solid. The Choice redemptions are solid. So that would be something I would say. So if we were going with Chase for grocery, the Chase Sapphire Preferred would probably be the closest, just because but the online grocery thing is kind of is kind of iffy. So maybe even going more towards like the Citi Strata Premier, which I currently use for my grocery right now, actually, and for the online shopping, I would just probably get a 2% card. So if you do have the Citi Strata Premier, then, the Citi Double Cash would be a solid thing. You could do the Citi Strata Elite, which would kind of compile. Actually, does it have grocery? I know it has restaurants. It may not actually. I don't think it has grocery. So then, yeah, don't get the Citi Strata Elite then. Let me double check that though, because I feel like that would be kind of a weird thing to leave out. No, it doesn't look like it does. Yeah, it doesn't have groceries. So yeah, don't get the Citi Strata Elite. So I'd probably say get the Citi Strata Premier and then the Citi Double Cash, or if you're going to go Chase, then the Sapphire Preferred and the Unlimited. But 1.5x is definitely got to be less than 2x. So again, Citi kind of comes out on top of those spin multipliers. But yeah, no, honestly, so I was talking to somebody else too. If you are cash back, the US Bank, I think it's the Shoppers card or Shoppers Award card. That's really good. Well, okay. Yeah. So Dim has a good question here. And, Dim says no more Amex Gold for groceries. Yeah. So, I have the Amex Gold. So one of the things that I've come experiencing is that I have 96,000 points with American right now. And if I wanted to do 2 business class seats from, say, London to Orlando or something like that, we'd be looking, if I found the saver fares, 59,000 points. And so I definitely need more American points. And Citi won't give me a new card. So I have kind of been featuring just kind of actually putting my spend more and more on the Citi card. So I do have those in my pocket if I actually need to make that booking. And so that's why I've kind of have steered away from the gold card. I definitely do still keep it in my wallet. I just have been kind of more going towards the Citi Strata Premier just because those AA miles could really help me make specific bookings that I'm trying to do. But great question, Dim. Thanks so much. Sledge is here. Thanks so much for being here, Sledge. You were on I think I was watching your live the other day, and that was really good. Dim took the boat out and about to hit a few dead spots on the Intracoastal. Have a great evening. That's awesome, Dim. Enjoy. That's great. I love the Intracoastal waterway. My uncle used to have a boat, and so we used to go. He had a timeshare with Marriott, and he ended up staying at the one in Palm Beach. And he would bring his boat, and we actually get a chance to kind of go out and do all that. And so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, nothing better than being on the boat for the day. And in Florida, you can actually be on the boat today. So, there's that. Mike Newland's here. Thanks so much. Hey, friends, Mike here. Yep, exactly. So glad that you're here as well. Dim is saying hi to Mike. QC Man is here. Thanks so much, QC Man. You're awesome. Sledge Inc. is saying A miles are unreplaceable. Yeah, absolutely. It is kind of a big deal. And the fact that you can actually make some real world bookings like from London that don't cost as much as some of the other places means it could really be helpful for my particular use case. Although it definitely those A miles can do really good for other things. And so that's definitely something I would consider as well. Nice. Dim saying I live right on the Intracoastal. Let me know when you're in Palm Beach. I will. My wife and we were in West Palm in June, and we really loved it. I tried to make a stay at the Breakers work, but it just didn't work for our budget at the time. But we definitely want to go back. I was there for a fundraiser. So I was working with a group based out of California, and we were doing a fundraiser at the Breakers, and they actually paid for me to stay there, which was amazing. But I always wanted to go back, but I just haven't gone back. So if we're there, we'll definitely let you know. Yeah, exactly. Stacy's Travel and Points is here. Thanks so much. I appreciate you. Happy New Year's. And then we have to link up on one of my trips. Absolutely, yeah. We'll do a little mini meetup in Palm Beach. All right, so let's go ahead and go back to, we do have a lot of people here, so I want to make sure we're talking about kind of the credits that we're dealing with. And so I've really been doing a lot of thinking about, the Platinum card. I've kind of looked at some of the things that I've gotten value from, and I do want to reflect a little bit on the Oura ring. So I did recently get the Oura ring, and I got it at... Let's see. I want to say I got it first. It was for the Black Friday special. So it was I think it was like $50 for the basic one, but I got kind of the gray one, and that ended up being an extra $50. So I spent about $118 after taxes after the $200 credit. And I gotta say, I don't know what the big deal is. I definitely can't see myself paying for that membership long term, just because. Well, so I have an Apple Watch, and I have been wearing an Apple Watch for a while. But the reason I wanted to get the Oura ring was because I wanted to be able to actually kind of wear some of my other watches. I have a couple Bulivas and however you pronounce it, and Citizens and things like that. I don't have two amazing watches, but I do want to actually start wearing real watches more, but I still wanted to be able to kind of measure my vitals. But it is a little bit more kind of in your face on the data it collects, but it doesn't really more numbers about yourself, but I don't know what to do with that. Or, it's like, oh, your sleep sucked and your sleep has sucked for the last week. You should probably think about doing something about that. And I'm like, great. I don't know what to do. So yeah, that's the only thing. I really don't think the Oura ring was kind of that worth it. I did get it just because it was so cheap, but I don't think I'll be keeping it long term. In fact, I actually already took it off. This is just my regular wedding ring. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Oura ring. Are you thinking about getting it? Have you gotten it? Am I missing something? I know John was kind of a big fan. If he's in the chat room, I'm sure he is racing to the keyboard as well. Or he'll let me know when he catches it on the other side. But yeah, so there's that. And then I did want to talk a little bit about the Walmart Plus credit too, because we have used the Walmart Plus from the Platinum card ever since we got it, actually. So last February. And I've really, really, really enjoyed it. It's been really great to have the free, grocery delivery. And what's really awesome, you don't think about it when you're just normally doing it, but using it for when you're traveling is huge. So my wife and we were there we went to North Carolina. We went to a mountain house in North Carolina for the week of Thanksgiving. And you probably noticed that I was in a dungeon for a little bit when I was doing my lives. But, we were about 45 minutes away from, the nearest Walmart, or the nearest grocery store for that matter, but they did delivery. So pretty much like we just ended up like the first day we were there, we knew we were going to come in, and we decided that, okay, we know we're going to come in a couple hours. Let's figure out what we all want. And it was there waiting for us when we got there. And that was just like so huge because as we're getting in, as we're getting settled, we're putting the groceries away. That means we have breakfast covered. We have, the next couple of meals covered with things we're going to make at the house and things like that. And that was just, it was really, really great to be able to actually use Walmart Plus, like, where we're going. And that would be the same case like if we're staying at the beach for a week or something like that, like being able to have our groceries delivered to us so we don't actually have to go out and do that is kind of a huge benefit to having, this particular like just having kind of a more seamless travel experience. So I know that a lot of people like to kind of hit on Walmart Plus as being this huge benefit of the Platinum card. And I kind of get it, right? You don't think of Walmart when you think of luxury travel cards, right? But you do like it can be in a certain way, like having access to the things you normally use is just really huge. So I've definitely, I've been, signing up for the Walmart Plus now. The thing is like they say that you save, I forgot how much, it's like $150 or something by doing the monthly version because it reimburses you for the monthly version. But if you paid for the year, you can get it for $98 often. Sometimes you get an Amex offer, you get $50 off of that for the year. And so it's not saving me 120 or $130 or whatever it is they tell you it's saving, but it's saving something. And so that's nice. Yeah, that Big Kurt has a great point. So Big Kurt here, you need to use the OnePay credit card to get 5% back. Yeah. So I actually did have that as my card, but there was a couple of problems with the OnePay card, and I love the OnePay card. I did a video about how much I love I think I did two actually on how much I love the OnePay card, but it's 5% cash back at Walmart if you have Walmart Plus, and so that gets you free with the Platinum card. But the thing I don't like about it is I use Copilot for my budgeting app, and currently Copilot doesn't actually kind of accept or interface with OnePay in any meaningful way, which means like I've already paid kind of for this app that I get to use for the next year. And if I want to be able to put groceries in my budget without actually going in and typing a bunch of stuff, I can have to switch to a different card. And now that I have the Venture X, I actually have been using that a little bit more. And so that's kind of, but yeah, thanks Big Kurt for the $5. I really appreciate you. You're amazing. But yeah, solid point. All right. So we have some people, we have some more comments. So let's go ahead. Dim is saying great brunch at the Breakers. Yeah, that is amazing brunch. And, honestly, the bars are really cool too. I love the lounges. There's, just really great conversations there. I love that one that has like the aquarium, like on the bar, like that's really cool too. So yeah, the Breakers is just this really special place. My wife actually was there. She used to be babysit for a nice family down here, and they took her to the Breakers, I think one time, and then a bunch of other fun things. So that's nice. Let's see, Corky. I just want to get over the aesthetics. Yeah, it is a nice looking ring. I will say that. Sledge, I don't always want to wear a watch at night, and let's be real, smartwatch batteries kind of suck. Yeah, I ended up actually getting the Ultra a couple of years ago, and it's basically works like one day and then most of the second day. And so that's a little bit easier to get, but kind of when I did just have the regular Apple Watch, like I kind of just knew that at some point it was going to be on a charger. So that could be while I was taking a shower, while I was kind of getting ready in the day, stuff like that. But yeah, no, that's a fair point. I definitely get that. Matt saying he sleeps with an Apple Watch. Yeah. The Oura Ring just has more info and can last 5 days or so. Yeah, it does pretty well without charging. So that's definitely a good point too. Yeah. Maybe I'm a little harsher on it. Mad I slept and still sleep with my Galaxy Watch, but a ring is a lot more comfortable. That's 100% true. Yeah, those rings are definitely more comfortable than the watch, but I just found that like it seems like the watch, like it gives me more credit for being like asleep longer, where like if I'm like, say if I'm tossing and turning, my ring will say that I'm awake, even though like I definitely wasn't awake. And so it definitely seems like it's a little bit more sensitive. I don't know if that's a setting I can I can kind of play around with. But yeah, QC man, haven't regularly worn a watch since I got a flip phone in the early 2000s and display the time on the face. Guess I'm not fashionable enough. Yeah, there you go. Oh man, those flip phones. I remember my first camera phone. I was part of like a summer program at the Y, and that was one of the things that they were really kind of freaking out about, because they were like trying to be like, you can't bring your phone into the locker room, because they were worried that just a bunch of people were going to take pictures of everybody else while they were changing, which I guess that kind of has happened. But yeah, that was, definitely, I remember those flip phones. Those were something else. I wasn't cool enough to have a Razor, but I did get whatever cheap Nokia thing came with AT&T or Singular or whatever it was at the time. Had Matt Sledge, fair enough. I'm just so used to it now. I feel naked sleeping without it. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Corky, the people who roast Walmart Plus benefits don't realize saving time is something rich and luxury people value a lot. Absolutely, yeah. Just being able to just say and the thing that I like about the Walmart Plus app too is I logged into the Walmart app on my wife's phone, and so pretty much, if she has something throughout the week that she needs added to the grocery list, she adds it on her phone. I add stuff on my phone. And so by the end of the week, Saturday or Sunday, we'll actually say, okay, do you need anything else? And then it'll get delivered before I go to work on Monday. And so that means that we're set on for the week with our groceries, and it kind of works really well with our family's kind of workflow. And there's a lot of things that we don't get at Walmart, like kind of raw meats and things like that. I have experienced a little bit of difficulty getting good kind of fruits and vegetables sometimes. Like if you get bananas, sometimes they'll be all bruised and stuff, and But yeah, generally speaking, Walmart has been really, really good. Like I don't have to worry about getting my toothpaste whenever it runs out, or deodorant or things like that. It's really nice. But I will say though about Walmart Plus, like Walmart has made this kind of huge pivot because they saw what Target was doing. They saw what Amazon was doing with, kind of this premium grocery kind of delivery service, right? So like Whole Foods, like you could order Whole Foods groceries to you from Amazon. And so like that was a huge deal. And Walmart, they wanted in on that. And I feel like American Express really provided Walmart with an interesting way to like penetrate a lot of different market share that they probably wouldn't have had otherwise. And the fact that, we're kind of more or less in a recession, even though it seems like none of the numbers say it, but they say it. Now that we're in that way, you're seeing a lot more people from more affluent backgrounds using Walmart. And so Walmart kind of positioned themselves really well a couple of years ago, and it's getting better. So for them, at least anyway. But Walmart always does good in recessions. So, there it is. Sledge Inc. Walmart Plus is a must for me. Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in Walmart Plus. My wife did get a free membership for the Target Circle membership or whatever it is that they do the free delivery and stuff. And she really loves that. But most of our stuff is actually in Walmart. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sledge Inc. When we first had cameras on the cell phone, we called them camera phone. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That was camera phone. I remember. So this one girl that I was really into in middle school, she got the rocker or whatever it was. It was a Motorola phone that you could put iTunes songs on. So it wasn't an iPod. It wasn't an iPhone. It was kind of this in between thing. And I thought that was the coolest thing. Like she was actually just playing music on a speaker from her phone. We went to the pool together and stuff. Like that was so cool. I was like, man, we're living in the future, Yeah, those phones were something else. And that's one of the reasons I love watching Mr. Mobile. I don't know if you guys are into tech YouTube at all, but Mr. Mobile, he used to actually be a Star Trek actor, and he does a bunch of like older phones, like when phones were fun. And he talks about kind of these older phones that it's really cool to see some of those videos. But anyway, I'm getting a little off track. Karis, I won't step foot in a Walmart, but I do have Walmart Plus delivery. Oh yeah, I forget that they have a pharmacy. I really probably should do that more because we have to go into the Publix, and I'd rather not do that. Dog food and pantry items, no fresh items. Yeah, that's always a good thing. I will say, like when we did before the Walmart Plus thing, I really got into, was it the Amazon Prime grocery delivery, or no, Amazon Fresh, that's what it was called. And they actually, so the one by us, so they had an Amazon Fresh warehouse, and they shared it with Kroger because they didn't have any physical stores down where I am, but they were trying to get into this kind of fresh delivery space. They've since retreated. But what I found out is when I order something from Kroger, it often was the exact same product from when I ordered it from Amazon Fresh. And so I could actually kind of go between the two apps and see which one was cheaper that week, which like I didn't really save that much, probably like $5 an order, but it was still enough fun to kind of game the system a little bit. But yeah, no, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, I love that. Corky's also saying that platinum card holders get early access to specials and deals like Black Friday. Yeah, that's a hands down amazing. Yeah, I love that. All right, yeah. So Mad Matt, I also love Walmart Plus or order every other day to stay stocked up. Yeah, exactly. Like we already have. Like my wife the other day, we were cleaning the kitchen, and she was like, Aren't we out of paper towels?" Like it was some weird thing. I was like, "No." So I just went into the closet and pulled out another roll and there and swapped it in there. There we go. Like I love being stocked up. There's Sledge knows Mr. Mobile. Yeah, he used to be roommates with another creator called his channel is The Unlocker, and he actually opened up a coffee shop, which was actually pretty good, and a coffee check. And I ordered some of his coffee when he first rolled it out. It was actually really good. And I actually have his coffee mug somewhere too, because I love supporting YouTube creators when I can. But anyway, okay, great. So we talked about Walmart Plus. We talked about the Oura Ring, kind of slapped that around. I want to talk a little bit about the Uber Cash Credit, and that's available on the Platinum Card and the Gold Card. And so the Uber Cash Credit is kind of cool because you are able to combine these credits first of all. So if you have the gold card plus the platinum card, then you're able to get, I think it's $10 a month plus $15 a month. And so that's really nice. But one of the things that's also kind of cool is my platinum card before I had it used to be a gold card. And so I synced that. So that gold card was identified. And for the first 6 months after I made that transfer, I got 2 gold card credits and then 1 platinum credit. And so that was $20 plus 15, so $35 every month. And that was really nice. But they since fixed that, and I only get the 1 gold and 1 platinum credit. But if you do a product change, like you will get that ton of double dip for a little bit until they fix their back end systems. And so, yeah, so this is really nice for me. So first of all, on months that we're traveling, I've used it for actual Uber rides. So in June, we traveled, we did some flying, and we used it for actually Uber rides to the hotel. And then in, let's see, July, we use it for Uber rides to the hotel as well. And it's amazing. Like I know conceptually, right? It's my money because I've paid the annual fee, right? But like when you go to get out of the plane and you go to your vacation destination, so in that case, we were in DC, you get the Uber, you go to the hotel, and you're like, and you see that charge because you have to say where that charge is going to go. And it's like, wow, this Uber only cost us $3. And, and that was the tip or whatever, is just something like that. That is like, it really sets the tone for your vacation. So on months that we're traveling, I will definitely save it for Uber rides specifically. But on months that we're not traveling, then I can use it for Uber Eats. Now, Uber Eats has a bunch of different options, right? So you can do grocery delivery, which I really haven't had a successful interaction with grocery delivery through Uber Eats, but you do have that option, right? So there's a Fresh Market in Dr. Phillips, which is like 25 minutes away from me, but 25 minutes away from me means 25 minutes back there and 25 minutes back. And so like, I like some of the stuff that whole Fresh Market has, but I'm not going to go there and buy it on my own. And so let's say like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I really want their crab cakes and maybe their double coated milk chocolate peanuts and things like that. Like I'll do that. And so you can use that for groceries. And so that can be really nice. They have really great orange juice that they squeeze in store too. So if you want the good stuff, like I think it's like $10 for like a half gallon, but it's still really nice. So there's that. But then Uber Eats actually. So this past year, so in December, we had a higher kind of amount that was given to us from the platinum card. I forgot how much it was. And then I had the gold card credit. And so I had like a decent amount. I think it was like $40 or $45 or something like that. And I found that week there was 2 buy one, get one free things at places near me for pickup. And so that entire week, I survived on that credit, and I actually had some left over for the next week. So there was a buy one get one free. There's a bento place near my office, and so they had buy one get one free. It was like a basil pork kind of, it was like a Thai kind of dish, rice bowl, and so they had buy one get one free, and so I ate part of it that day, the next part of it the next day, and I actually kept it in my work refrigerator, and I kind of ate on the other one for the third day. So then Thursday rolls around, I have another buy one get one free, and this is for a chicken place. So it's like Zaxby's or Raising Cane's, Huey Magoo's. I don't know if any of you know. And they had buy one get one free for grilled chicken tenders, and and you can get kind of whatever side you wanted. And so I ate that. So I ate the first one on Thursday, the second one on Friday. So an entire week's worth of food was covered by half of my Uber Eats credit. And downtown Orlando is kind of a weird position because we're finally, like, Orlando has successfully returned to the office. There are not a lot of people that I know that work for companies downtown that are not working in the office at least 4 days a week. So what you're seeing is a lot more of these lunch places actually kind of pop up and open up in downtown Orlando, which is really good for this kind of thing. So they're all trying to get business. They're all doing these buy one, get one free things. And so, like, this month, I probably got, I want to say maybe even probably close to $60, $70 worth of food for those credits. And so this has kind of been stupid easy to get value from. But even on normal months, when it's not kind of a higher credit and there's all these buy one, get one free deals going on, like, just doing a pickup is really easy because there's a taco place like just down the street from me that they do Taco Tuesday specials only on Uber Eats for pickup. And so I'm actually saving like $3 per order by ordering it through Uber Eats. And so there's a lot of places like that. Now, you do have to be vigilant because that pricing kind of fluctuates, but it is possible with your doing pickup to actually save money from if you ordered from the restaurant directly. At least where I am. Let me know if that is the case where you guys are, because I don't know if that's the case, everywhere, but it's certainly the case here. And so the Uber credit, I'm really been fine with. That's been really solid. Let's see. There's a bunch of credits. So let's go back through the Platinum card. Waiting for my computer. We'll definitely get to some of the other ones, but I definitely want to make sure we're talking about the big gun, right? And so, so let's take a look at the few details. Yeah, let's take a look at the entertainment credit, right? So the entertainment credit is kind of easy to finesse. My wife and I are kind of in a weird situation that I work for a cable provider. So we get free cable, we get free internet. I do have to pay a separate fee for getting the gigabit internet. And so, like, I get, 1,000 megabytes down, and I think it's like close to 100 megabytes up per second. And so that's kind of my situation. But we also get, so because we get free cable, we get free HBO Max and a couple of other things like the Peacock we get. No, not Peacock. We get Paramount and things like that. But the ones that we get are kind of the ad version, right? And so my wife and I, we don't really care for ads for the stuff that we watch the most of. And so we do actually pay for, we pay for Disney Plus, which includes the Hulu package. We don't include the one that has the ESPN Plus package because I never really was able to find a lot of value in that particular one. And so, that's kind of a big deal. Now let's go ahead and share my screen here. So we pay for Disney Plus. We pay for the Disney Plus with no ads. And then we also pay for Peacock because my wife actually enjoys those kind of shows. She's kind of really big into, what's the not live TV, but, the easy to produce kind of stuff, reality television. That's what she likes. And so we like that. And then we also subscribe to YouTube Premium. And we actually have the family plan because a lot of our friends are actually on our family plan. And so they all have, I should probably add Anthony Venture so he could actually just go ahead and have YouTube Premium already. And then Wall Street Journal I actually pay for just because I like a lot of their content. And I have the one that mixes Barron's with the subscription. So we already cover that. And so just off of those things, we pay for the ones that don't have ads. And so we actually max out this credit every month, and we have. And now that it's a little bit more, right? So that's $25 in saving credits every single month. That's easy to get value from. And if you actually, what's funny is that actually almost covers the YouTube Premium fee for the family. That's actually not that bad. So yeah. So if you're someone who wants to be able to cover YouTube Premium for 5 other people, then yeah, I mean, this is completely free by having this card. So come on, Anthony Venture, what's up? you know, okay, Resy credit. Let's take a look at the Resy credit because I really have gotten a lot of value. So I've talked a lot about Resy, particularly in Orlando. Some people have actually been asking me about it, but Resy is very easy to use here. But even when I travel, so let's take a look at let's go to Resy actually. Let's see. You can find out where I'm going to points, yeah, and StreamYard. Okay, so let's go to Resy and let's actually just take a look in Asheville. So there was a couple places. My wife and I we went to Asheville, North Carolina recently. No, really, they're not in Asheville. Okay, maybe it was Open Table. All right, so we went to Louisville. So let's take a look at Louisville, Kentucky. And so we're going to search at kind of all the restaurants. We're just going to do climbing, and then it's going to do search all. Let's see. Trying to figure out. Okay. There's a way to see all results. Yeah, there we go. All right. So here we go. So if you're just going to a place, right? So let's say like my buddy and I, we went to Louisville, and when we actually got the booking done, I went through and I looked at, so we actually ended up staying at, going to this place, Dash of Barbers, which is actually really, really good. It's kind of very kind of soul food. It's in a really interesting kind of new and upcoming part of town. And that means exactly what you think it means. And the really, really great food, very spicy, loved it. Great people. The hostess was actually, she was a daughter of one of the owners, and she was actually working on her homework in between seating people and stuff. It was just really great atmosphere, really great food. So we loved that. And then we also, J. Alexander's is on there. They're kind of a regional steakhouse chain. And then we went to the Red Hog, which is actually really, really cool. So this here is, they kind of had like an outdoor seating area, really, really cool. We actually had a sourdough pizza, that you had to cut with they gave you kitchen shears in order to cut it. And, it was just really, really good. So we stayed there. That was good. But so even if you don't use it, like where you are, right, you can still get value from Resy. And the great thing about the quarterly credit, right, is you only have to travel 4 times a year. And I know a lot of people are going to say, I don't travel 4 times a year, and that's fine. I get that. But if you do, like, it's possible to get that value without actually needing to go to the gift card route, which, I've definitely heard. I think Key did a really great video about this. I want to say, I think Anthony did a really good video about this, like using those gift cards. But it's not that difficult to find a place that you're going to go to, right? Let's go to DC actually, because I really love picking on DC because I love Washington DC. I actually used to work there a little bit. That's where I re-met my wife, and so let's take a look at Washington DC. Okay, well, you're just being dumb. Okay, yeah, that's why I'm not doing it right. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to see all new on Resy, all results. Okay, so if we're looking at Washington, D.C., I'm going to go ahead and widen the search out a little bit. So you have a lot of really good options. Yeah, so we have Cafe and Vindy is actually pretty good. Let's see. One thing that you will see on Resy is there's a lot of Asian kind of sushi restaurants too. The Rooster and Owl was actually really good. Let's see. There was another one that we went to. There's also the Red Hen is amazing. So the Red Hen, for those of you that aren't in the DC area, they're kind of more in kind of the northern section of town, but they're really hard to get into. You can see this is Notify. So my wife and I, we were going there for her birthday. And so I set a priority notification because we had the Aspire card and the Platinum card, which means we have the Resy kind of special access program. And what that means is you can they'll notify you if a reservation comes available on the date and time that you ask them to watch. And so I was actually able to, the day before we left, I got a push notification from Resy saying this reservation is open at, I think it was like 6:30 or 7 or something like that. So I jumped on that and we got in, and that was really, really incredible. Loved it. So yeah, that was really good. Like, and this is Washington DC. Like, a lot of people are going to travel to Washington DC. Pinroll Station's really good. Fiola is actually really, really good. Very expensive though. Let's see. Yeah, you have a lot of really good places. I'm looking to see because I know they had La Diplomat. Yeah, so this is one place that I absolutely love to go to. So I actually went here after I got back from my trip to Paris, and the food was actually really close. They had a French onion soup, the escargot, and they had a roasted, I think, rabbit or something I got. That was really good. Well, okay, yeah, so this is, that's fair. There's five, so like 50 restaurants or so in the basic area. That's fair. But my point is here is that there's a lot of kind of collective places like it kind of all over the place. Now, if you're looking in New York, right, there's a lot of different places. In Atlanta, there's a lot of different places we can take a look at. So let's go ahead and see all here. So let's see if we can see how many there are in Atlanta. I'm just going to blow it out a little bit. There we go. So you get all sorts of all these places. So now it only shows you per screen, right? And so all these restaurants on this screen, but let's see how many screens there are. There's a lot. So it doesn't really, it's kind of hard to find one. But yeah, you definitely need to go into that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess we got to go into, let's see. All right, let's get caught up on the comments. Use Uber Cash. Wow, there's quite a comment section popping off. All right. Let's see. I don't have a car. Super cash, super valuable and organic, especially stacked with multiple cars. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you're gonna have, it makes it easy. One of the things I love about the Uber credit is that it makes it easy to get value from being in the American Express ecosystem. It makes it a little bit easier you don't have to work as hard, and so I like that. Michael is saying the issue you have with Copilot money is the same issue I have with Max Rewards. Yeah, there are several credit cards that I can't link up with on there. Yeah, no, 100%. I think the Robinhood Gold is on there, and they finally fixed an issue with that. But a lot of them, like my Amtrak cards, can't go on there. I don't think my OnePay card can. My Apple card can, but you have to give them you have to verify your Apple ID every time you want to sync it, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, Max Rewards does have some of that problem as well. So that's important to note. Matt, I'm old fashioned. I use Quicken for a Mac to track everything. Yeah, there we go. I found that I'm too lazy for that. I just have to be able to actually just go through and say, okay, you know what, just here's my logins, do the stuff for me. I like to set the rules on the Copilot app, and that's nice. Corky, I used the Uber Cash of 45 for an order from a Resy restaurant for pickup. There you go. All right. I love that. QC Man 2000 is always a Wall Street Journal or New York Times deal floating around for a year at a steep discount. Absolutely. I think I pay $6 a month for the Wall Street Journal plus Barron's, and they have really good stuff sometimes. And especially so, I teach U.S. government the first 6 months of the year, or the first semester, and I teach economics the second semester. So not this upcoming week, but the week after that, I'll start in economics, which means having access to the Wall Street Journal and Barron's is actually a legitimate business expense. And so that's important to note too. Sledging team, ESPN Plus is trash, but the bundle now includes regular ESPN. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that it did, but yeah, no, I can imagine that price being insane. Every once in a while, I think about do I want Sunday ticket with YouTube TV? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't want to pay a platinum annual fee. Matt, I love Resy. Told Chad's I live here. Tad's live. I have a Resy that I love right in my building. Wow. Plus planning New York City for next year. Many top Michelin star and other iconic restaurants on Resy. Yeah, 100%. One thing that I have kind of started to notice is that some of the restaurants are leaving Resy. So if that kind of happens, I don't know where that reservation goes. I would assume that reservation stays the same. But if anybody has had a reservation kind of kick back from that, let me know, because I do want to know where that is. But yeah, QC, yeah. Yes, I did go to a really interesting area for some good soul food. It was good food. I really loved it. I had the meatloaf, and my buddy had the shrimp and grits. It was a good place. Corky J, I did that for RVR, and okay, nice. That's good to know. Yeah, no, I definitely understand. It's they make it harder to find stuff. You got to kind of know what you're looking for. They do make it so you can kind of set different cuisines. Like if you know you're looking for New American or Asian or Italian, like they make it easy to find those particular things. But it is kind of hard. Oh yeah. So how is the built restaurant in Washington D.C.? You know what? I actually have not looked at the built dining program. Let's go ahead and do that today. Let me go ahead and see if I need to log in. Maybe I don't know if I do. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. This is a really great question, though. I really want to know because a lot of these things you're finding with the proposed. Nope, that is not what I did. All right. If you're like looking at some of these proposed cards with Built 2.0, like a lot of them rely very heavily on this built dining program, and so that's going to be kind of a key consideration moving forward. So that's definitely something that we need to consider. All right, they're not making this easy. Hold on just a minute. Sorry, thought I could do this real quick, but they have to verify. I love the fact that everybody does two-step verification, but it's a little difficult to manage when you're doing a live stream for some reason. All right, let's go ahead and do, I think it's under the neighborhood. Yeah, built dining. Let's take a look here at this one. All right, hopefully I'm not giving away any personal information. Let's go ahead and look for, all right, so it's telling me where I'm near. I wonder if I can search other locations. Oh, they actually don't have terrible places. Okay, here we go. Search by city. Let's go to Washington, D.C. See if I can. I'm just going to search. Okay. All right. So they do have a couple. So they have some Mediterraneans. Wow. Oh, okay. I thought that was it for a minute. The Grill. Okay, that's actually a good restaurant. Agua 301, actually pretty good too. Schilling Canning Company, I've heard good things about that one. The Green Turtle, actually not that bad either. Let's see. Ted's Bulletin. Oh, that's a good get. Honestly, Ted's Bulletin is pretty big. It's particularly the one in Capitol Hill. There's you can find a lot of lawmakers there actually. Miramar Restaurant, not too bad. The Bazaar. Okay, Jose Andres is on here. Pinstripes, that's not a bad one either, actually. Yeah, they have some good restaurants in Washington. That's good to know. Okay. Oh, Haleo. So they got the Jose Andres thing locked down, which is interesting because well, Jose, he has the partnership with Capital One, so they don't really have a special dining program. I don't think. Well, I mean they do, but they don't really. Yeah. Okay, great. So there's a lot of different places. A Yardbird. Okay. Yeah. So there's some not terribly expensive places either, which is also really good. So you don't have to spend an arm and a leg in order to actually be a part of this, the built dining program. So, all right. That's good to know. Ooh, chicken and whiskey on 14th Street. That actually sounds really, really good. Okay. All right. Yeah. So built dining program, pretty good for Washington, D.C. Great question. I'm so glad you asked that actually. So we were able to get that answered. Kia's here. Thanks so much for being here, Kia. Really appreciate you. Built Resto, you say. Yeah. So QC Man the Redhead, made famous by Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I went to it before it was famous for that, but yeah, no, that was definitely a favorite of her. And Le Diplomat was also really famous in the first Trump administration as well. It's become less famous now. For some reason, but it's still hard to get reservations. Lithium, man, last time I checked, I think there's literally 2 Resy restaurants in Maine. Okay, wow, that would suck, honestly. Let's take a look at Maine. I want to check in the entirety of Maine. Okay, was it Bangor? Is that your? Wow, okay, it's not showing up at all. No results. Okay. You might be right on that one then, because I'm not seeing a lot there. I wonder if there's anything in New Hampshire that would be good for you. Let's see. Yeah, there's a couple. Actually, no, there isn't. Okay. Yeah, that's fun. All right. Yeah, so that's not the best thing. Let's see. Big Kurt, Uber and Walmart Plus credit with PayPal now. Oh. Okay. So you get good multipliers with PayPal. Okay. Actually, so there's someone who commented on a video that the Rakuten card actually codes Walmart and Target as the 2x for grocery spending. So that actually might be an interesting little thing. I haven't tested it out yet because I just for now remember that was a thing. But that could be really interesting if so, because 2 built points per dollar on Walmart and Target would be really kind of a big deal. I would be interested in that. Tyler's Credit Card Tips is here. Thanks so much for being here. I just want to stop in and wish a good stream. Thank you. If you haven't gone to his channel yet, please do so. He's an awesome guy. He has actually some pretty good insights too. Michael Simpson, I'd love to see some of the Walt Disney World sit-down restaurants added to Resy. There are some great ones, and how much better would they take with that? Absolutely. Michael, yeah, so it's funny. When I looked at Resy, it's primarily the resort restaurants at the Universal places, not the Palm, but some of the other ones like at the Polynesian E1, I forgot what the name was. They are on Resy. There's a couple others that are on Resy, and so they have the Universal restaurants on lock, including the new one at Epic Universe, like that hotel. There's they have that restaurant too, and so that's on Resy. But none of the Disney ones are actually on Resy, which kind of sucks. But I definitely do think that they like to kind of maintain control of the reservation system. Although what is interesting, if anybody did get access to it, you can actually book the restaurants at Disney Springs both through the My Disney Experience app and through OpenTable. And so I think if anybody would be able to get the Walt Disney sit-down restaurants in the resorts or even in the parks, I think it probably would be OpenTable, which would mean a Chase partnership. But honestly, if I could use the Chase dining credit at the California Grill, for example, yeah, absolutely, sign me up. I can go eat on top of the world for $100 off. Like, absolutely. Michael Simpson, I'd love to see. Okay, yeah, that's what you were saying. Is that the same thing? Yeah. Okay. Double. All right, Servicio. There's an adult dining restaurant with 100 miles of me. Okay, yeah. That would be, I think that's kind of my similar situation as well. There's not a terribly decent amount in Orlando. Let me see if I can check that though. Like, so the thing about the Orlando, Florida, there's not that many that are actually worth going to, I think is my thing. So if I shared my screen here, okay, you see Acropolis Greek Taverna. I actually don't know any of these places. Big Dave's Cheesecakes, the Licking Florida Mall, that doesn't sound good. Uncle Julio's, if anybody knows about Uncle Julio's, it's always crap. I've never been to a good Uncle Julio's. Mango dessert, actually that's actually sounds kind of good. Planet Hollywood, interesting. San Jose's is on here. McAllister's is on here. But yeah, like it's kind of a weird mishmash, and this is it. This is in Orlando. It's definitely better than your program, but it's definitely not something that would make, like, if the Built card only gave 3x at Built Dining, right? That would not be something that I would normally use, and that would be kind of a problem, at least for me. But yeah, no. So Servicio, we're kind of in the same boat. Although I guess I have a little bit more to choose from than you do. But in theory, like I don't have enough choice to actually make it worthwhile. In my particular thing, Portland, Maine has the two. Oh, okay, Portland, yeah, that makes sense. That is really sad because Maine actually has a decent amount of places. And one of the things I would love to do is get one of those houses like on the water in Maine. That's just like, I love Maine. It's so beautiful. Portland, Maine is a good destination. Absolutely. KRS, yeah, 100%. Food destination, yeah. Source King, I found a restaurant close to me that's on Resy and the Built Dining program. Wow, that's even better. Yeah, that is even better. I love that. Mad Matt at Michael Simpson, completely agree. Resy Walt Disney will be super fine on my ballot. 100%. Yeah. We go to the Disney restaurants quite a bit. We haven't been to the new one that opened up, the Bake Shop or whatever. It looks really good though. It's kind of on the more expensive side, but we go to Citricos recently, fairly regularly at the Grand Floridian. We go to California Grill once or twice a year. We haven't been to Victoria and Albert's yet. I really want to try to get one of those reservations. They're also very difficult to get, which is weird because I actually used to work with somebody who's a bartender at Citricos, and I asked him to help me out. He's like, I can't. So, it is what it is. Vandersar, it only till the 15th of May. Second, you'll need a status for the Rakuten for grocery. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. QC man, thanks so much for $2. I really appreciate you. You're amazing. Corky, I might have a huge Rakuten points comeback, almost 57,000 because I got concert tickets. But hopefully the other person didn't scam the tickets. Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. I love it when those Rakuten like kind of dipping situations happen. I was kind of upset because I was really proud about there was one thing, I think it was like 12x back on Macy's or something, and I used my Rakuten card and I get the thing back and it's like it doesn't fit me. Actually no, they sent the wrong size, and so I had to return it, which means like I'm not going to get the multipliers anymore because they canceled that thing. But I was like, oh well, a part of me actually was thinking about, look, let's just not return it so I get the points. But I was like, okay, I need the money. Disney Springs is Resy restaurants. One of them is SDK. Oh yeah, 100. Okay, yeah, that's good to know too. I forgot about that. SDK, I've never really been particularly impressed with any SDKs I've been to. And there used to be one, I don't know if it's still there, but the one at the Waldorf in Washington, D.C., when it was the Trump Hotel, there was an SDK there, and it kind of sucked. But yeah. Lithium, KRS, I'm a 5-hour drive north of Portland. It's cheaper to eat to fly to Boston. Okay. That's good to know. A lot of good restaurants in Boston, I'll say that. I spent a campaign season there working for a Senate campaign, and it was fun. 10x back on StubHub plus 4x with Rakuten. That's amazing. I love that. I love Rakuten for that. If you haven't actually checked out Rakuten, definitely go do so. It's definitely something you need to be a part of, 100%. QC man, I think some of the restaurants that left Resy went to open table. Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, definitely not the reserve tables. That one, I don't. I do understand a little bit, like if you're going to have like a program that gives you special access to the tables, right? Like Capital One's dining program with the Venture X, conceivably there's separate donations for Capital One customers. And that gives you access to the restaurant, which is kind of the first hurdle, at least in some of these restaurants, right? Like when my wife and we went to New York City last year, she really, really, really wanted to go to the Polo Bar. And that was because some of her favorite podcasters were there. And I tried all the stops. I tried everything that I could to make it happen. And I just I was not able to make that happen. It was just, but yeah, so getting actually into the tables is important enough, but like you need to kind of have like a special relationship to actually have the credit and the special access. But I don't know. I feel like it should have been a little bit more fleshed out before they went to market with it. Oh yeah, Chad. Hey Philip, is Four Rivers on there? That place is great barbecue. I don't know if I definitely don't think it's on Built. I don't know if it's on Resy though. Let me see if there's Four Rivers. But yeah, Four Rivers is, if you ever do come to Central Florida, Four Rivers is amazing. No, it's not on Built. Let's see if it's on Resy. I don't think it is. It's not. Unfortunately not. So great question though. Love the barbecue there. And I love that when you order the okra at Four Rivers, they actually like you have to wait because they fry it right then. So it's never just like sitting in under a heat lamp or something like that. It's always fresh. It's always hot. That's always good. I always get the sliced lean brisket. Chad, you're going to make me have to get some barbecue for dessert or for dinner. Thanks so much, Chad. Hey, Lithium, are you near the Twin Cities? I worked up there for St. Mary's Medical, and I liked the area. Oh, okay, yeah. I actually had a client that lived up in that area. Karis, I remember the original Built Dining program had subpar restaurants even in New York City. I haven't looked at the Built Dining program since. I know they partnered with the Ward Network to improve it. Yeah, it looks like they are getting better, but it's definitely not anywhere close. And so, like, I don't have that many. I think I have like 600 Built points right now because I just haven't used the program very much. But yeah, QC and chat, what major metropolitan area haven't you worked in? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. That's a really good question. He travels. Nicholas, Vegas has a lot of built dining. I did Buca for Christmas. Oh, okay, Buca de Beppo. That is actually cool. We did used to have one in Winter Park, but it shut down. It was very old fashioned, but I always had a good, decent experience there. I went there for a couple business meetings and for a family reunion one time. But yeah, love that. Officials, Chaz Money Mitts, very well traveled. Yeah, Beppo. Yeah, that's a good one. QC man, I saw a random video on the Polo Bar and saying how hard it is to get a reservation. It is. So here's the thing. I tried the concierge of the hotel and I told them that it was our thing. I called and I waited online. So I waited in line 3 days in a row for over 2 hours each day because you have to call a special number. It opens at 10 a.m. and you have to stay on the line and then hopefully they'll come to you. So that was the first round. I didn't get in. So then any of the days that we were going to be in New York City. So then I went to the hotel concierge. They tried. They weren't able to. And then so pretty much at that point it was done. So weren't able to get in. Now was an option. I could have purchased the reservations online. There was an auction site. I think it was going for like $300 just for the reservation. But that was kind of crazy. So I could have made it happen. It is weird how much of a business it is of obtaining reservations to sell to other people in New York City. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. It is wild, which is weird because like you'd think these reservation systems would kind of be built around making sure that the right people had access, but apparently I wasn't the right people. So there's that. Maybe I should have told them I wasn't on YouTube at the time, so it wouldn't have mattered. Let's see. I'm pretty sure Built and Rakuten use the same program for restaurants. At least it looks like I have compared a lot of options. Okay. That may be the case other places then, because I'm not seeing a lot of overlap, at least in Orlando. But I definitely don't know, anything about the rest of the world too. But great point. Thank you. Vandersar, also you can link Built and Lyft so you can earn extra Built points. In my opinion, is the best thing to connect to Lyft. Yeah. We don't use Lyft pretty much unless like we're checking, like if we're flying somewhere and we're trying to get a trip from the airport, we will price check to see which one's cheaper, because sometimes that can make a significant difference, but we don't regularly use Lyft. So I actually don't have anything linked to my Lyft account. I probably should do that. Nick, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, Built said they're going to upgrade their Built Dining with the Built 2.0 program. They almost have to, honestly. Like if they only rely on Built Dining as being the key multiplier for this card, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And it looks like someone is at the door. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. All right. But yeah, no, they're definitely going to have to make sure that they change that, because that is definitely not going to be that's really, like, it's just not going to be enough for a lot of people. And so that's going to be a huge problem for them. So, all right. Don't see that. All right. So let's go ahead and get into some of the other credits, because I did want to make sure that we talked about some of these others. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so let's take a look at so we talked about a little bit about the hotel credit. I definitely really am kind of happy about that. Oh, let's talk about the airline fee credit. So the airline fee credit is, I kind of took the easy way out for all three of my platinum cards. So the personal platinum card I made for Delta, because we do a lot of kind of these reward redemptions with Delta, and so kind of I've put all of my reward redemptions on that, and then we also like the taxes and fees and stuff. And then I've also used it to get access to the Delta Sky Clubs for my guests. And so had 2 guest visits and then that. And so that pretty much almost killed the entire thing for the year. And so that's how I've used that for one card. Now, you do have some workarounds that I'm probably not going to talk about here, just because someone's always going to be like, oh, you shouldn't talk about it here. So I'm not going to talk about it here. But the other my 2 business platinums I used for the United travel credit. So I just loaded my United Travel Bank for that, and that's actually something that I'm going to be using to get from DC back to Orlando, because we're going to be ending up actually traveling out of Dulles. We're going to travel into DCA, stay in DC for a little bit, and then stay with some family in Northern Virginia. And then so we're just going to fly out of Dulles and then use that credit on United to come back to Orlando. And so that's kind of where we're really planning on using that particular credit. So Yeah, that one's easy enough to use. So between the Uber Cash, the airline fee credit, the $600 hotel credit, like it's very easy to get that value from this card. Now we do have to talk. Let me actually just make sure that we have these. So KRS saying it's all bots that take up all the reservations. Not many people book cook in Manhattan. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I don't know if I would want to either. When I look at all the apartments that are in Manhattan, I don't want. That's barely big enough to be a coffee station. So yeah, I definitely don't think you should be cooking if you're there. Sorry, just don't forget to lift to bill is way better than the Alaska or something. Okay, that's good to know. Interesting. Source King says a few restaurants in Tokyo required me to show my passport to make sure I was the one on the reservation. Interesting. Okay, that's good to know that some people are doing something about it. That really is cool. I like that. Okay, so we took a look at the photo Resy credit. Let's talk about Lululemon. So we have so far I've gotten full value from the Lululemon credit. So that's what $150 so far for the first quarter and the second quarter of since the card was refreshed. So that's really good. So what I've done so far is I've used it to purchase pants. So they were I think they're the anti-ball crushing, so ABC pants are $150 normally, but I've always been able to get them at a discount. So I usually do still end up spending $30 to $40 after shipping and taxes for these pairs of pants. And so I definitely have been spending more money there than I would have before. But they are good pants. They're not terribly dressy, which means like if I was wearing a jacket or if I were going to a nice restaurant or something, I probably wouldn't be able to get away with them. But they look good enough for business casual, so I can wear them in the office most of the time. And so that's really a great way to kind of go with that, right? And that's really good. So that's really good. Luke really swears by the hoodies, which is actually, those look really comfortable. And so Lululemon is pretty easy to get value from without doing the whole gift card thing, but I definitely have spent more money with that than without that. And so that's kind of important to note, so that's there. Let's see here. So we talked about, the Uber One credit I actually haven't used yet because I get the Uber one from my, because I have it on a couple of things. I have it with my Apple card, with my Delta Business Gold card, and then I have it with the Platinum card. And so I think I already pulled the trigger on it for the Apple card, so I don't actually have that particular thing, through the Platinum card, just because it's already paid for with the Apple card. But next year I definitely will end up doing that. QC man, yeah. Do the ABC pants really let the boys breathe better than standard than with standard socks? Yeah, I will say it feels like you're wearing sweatpants, kind of stretchy sweatpants. Like it never feel uncomfortable. I never have to like adjust myself. It's always kind of really, really good. So I would definitely say it's worth a shot if you haven't tried them yet. But I like the Lululemon pants. But it is kind of harder to find something that's like fitting for kind of a bigger boy, and so that's kind of important to note too, because it is kind of harder to find something that fits me, but like I just fit in their largest size of the pants, and so that's kind of works out for me so far, at least, and so that's nice. All right, let's do the thing. Let's take a look at Clear. So we're going to talk about Clear Plus. So Clear is available to get. You have it on a handful of Amex cards, only Amex cards for some reason. You have the personal platinum card, the business platinum card, the Aspire card, and the green card. And I think the reserve actually gets you. I think the reserve gets you a Clear credit as well, if I'm not mistaken, the Delta Reserve. So this one I have signed up for me and my wife. And so this past year I paid for mine with with a personal platinum card. I paid for my wife's with the business platinum card. And so we put the full, so she has her separate account. I have my account. Back last year, the year before that, when we only had the green card, I added her to my account and then I paid for my charge with the green card and then her charge with the green card. And I only got the $200 back and I had to pay, I think it was like the $100 or whatever it was extra for her to get Clear. Now for those two things, or for those 2 years, we've traveled a decent amount. And we're traveling from Orlando, so MCO. And we found that all but 2 times the Clear line was significantly shorter than there's just a regular TSA pre-check line. There were two times where the TSA line was better, right? And so we actually went through the TSA pre-check line, but because they still don't really have, like, they hadn't rolled out the TSA, the touchless ID thing. It was still like you had to pull out your wallet and identify yourself and things like that, which, like, if you're flying clear, you kind of get used to just rolling up to the airport and giving them like a scan of your boarding pass and you just roll in. But, I really got to say, I have loved having clear. It's been really, really great. It saves us so much time and money. Like in Atlanta, we fly out of Atlanta a decent amount, and in JFK, we actually save some time, do it as well. And so there's just a lot of places where it's mattered in a meaningful degree. And so, like, if I had to pay for the full charge, would I have paid like the 300 and whatever, so like $320 for both of us if we were on the same account? Probably not. But because it does part of the card, I'm going to use it. What do you guys think about Clear? Does it help you guys? Do you think it's worthless? Does it matter now that the TSA PreCheck has this touchless ID program? Let me know. All right. So that's the Platinum card. Let's take a look at the little brother, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So I really have had a very sour view on the Chase Sapphire Reserve for a while. And, oh yeah, okay. QC Man has a good question. Have you had the opportunity to use Clear at a stadium or concert? Is it super useful there as well? I have not. I would imagine that would pretty easy to use. I've found that the only kind of concerts that we've been to is when we've been invited. So my wife, she works in advertising, and so sometimes we'll be invited to like a box or something for some concerts, and that usually has its own little separate entrance and stuff. But we haven't really paid for our own concert tickets in a while, so I haven't really had a chance to do that. But that's a really good question. If anybody has any data points, let me know. We definitely want to hear them. But yeah, so let's take a look at the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I have hated on this card a lot. And I was talking with Spencer Johnson about this card. And obviously, he maintains that it works really well for him. So let's take a look at what that actually means. So in full value, or full throated kind of idea, I don't have this card, right? But we're going to discuss kind of how, like, you can talk about how you've been able to get value from it, things like that. I can talk about some things I've heard from other people, stuff like that. So the dining credit. So the Sapphire exclusive tables program on OpenTable. So one of the things I did want to notice about this is if you open up the OpenTable app, it hammers you hard. It tries to get you to pay for, or to apply for the Sapphire Reserve on the OpenTable app. And so that's really, like, they're getting some money out of it, So that's kind of a big deal. And now the Sapphire exclusive tables program is kind of difficult. Let's see if we can actually search it. I don't know if we can. Sapphire Reserve tables, exclusive tables. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can look at the list. Okay, yeah. You can. You can look at the list. Okay, yeah, you can. Okay. So if we were to look at Atlanta, so my wife and I, we traveled to Atlanta a decent amount. We have Yibo Beach House, the Garden Room, the Alden. I actually heard some decent things about this one. The Optimus, Little Sparrow, Canoe. I've seen some good things about Canoe, actually. But yeah, so Atlanta, one of the largest metropolitan areas in the Southeast, does not have very many restaurants. Okay, so we know that. All right, let's take a look at Orlando. So Orlando's listed here. Let's take a look. All right, so they have Norman's, which is decent, right? It's kind of expensive. I Drive Sand Lake, not a bad restaurant. The Pinery, Primo, Knife and Spoon on Sand Lake. Okay. All right. Charlie's Steakhouse. Oh man, Charlie's Steakhouse. Okay, so it's funny. So someone actually messaged me on Discord. I forgot who it was, and reminded me that Charlie's Steakhouse. So I actually forgotten that it was here. But Charlie's Steakhouse, I've always viewed it as more of like a kind of a touristy thing. I've never actually been inside, but it doesn't strike me as being like that good of a restaurant. I don't know. Is it? Yeah, apparently they're pretty selective about their steaks, so I guess I'll have to try it out. But yeah, so there's a decent amount of restaurants in Orlando. I would go to a couple of these. That actually looks like a really good. Actually, no, it doesn't really. It doesn't look that good, actually. Yeah, I'd have to try it. All right, so Orlando's not bad. Let's take a look at. We picked on Washington D.C. Let's take a look at Washington D.C. here. Dauphins, Amazonia, Brusca, service bar. Okay, yeah. So a lot of these Duck in the Peach. Oh, you know what? This is in the Wharf area, I'd imagine. I really don't know that much about any of these restaurants. But again, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 restaurants in the city of Washington, D.C. Not that much. Let's see if there's any in Dallas Fort Worth. All right, so we have Jose, Contemporary Mexican, Nick and Sam's Sister, Tyann, Town Hearth. Okay, so a decent amount. I can see why he's a fan. Let's take a look at, let's go to West Palm Beach. They mentioned West Palm Beach. Stage, Kitchen and Bar in Boca, the Butcher's Club at PGA National. Okay, this actually I would not mind going to. That's my kind of style. All right. Nicholson Muir Meats, Taka, Omakase. Yeah, a lot of those kind of places. Okay. Not bad. Let's see if we went to Nashville. So we go to Nashville a decent amount. Okay. Here's the thing. When I look at these restaurant lists, like some of them look good, but I don't know if I would say like, oh, I need this credit, or I would go out and voluntarily use this credit. Like if I had it, which is, let's see, this credit is what, $150 every 6 months, right? So let's say if we went to, I guess Chez Fifi would be, let's go to, oh, you know what? Let's go back to Orlando. Where is it? Where's Orlando? There we go. Let's go back to Orlando and let's take a look at Norman's, because I actually know a little bit about this place. So if we take a look at Norman's menu, which hopefully they have a link to here. Yeah, here we go. So we can take a look at Norman's website. Let's take a look at the food. All right, so if we're looking at main dining a la carte menu, so there we go. All right, so the first plate, so appetizers, Gulf shrimp, $19, roasted bone marrow, 21, braised pork jelly, 18, main plates, yellow edge grouper, 55, C's gallows, let's see. Oh yeah, so here we go. So bone in, tomahawk ribeye, 18 ounce, so $100. So you can get one steak and, a drink for that. Or, it's like, I mean, it's not terribly expensive. You can probably spend $150 for a couple if you kind of play it easy. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Would this be worth it to you guys? All right. So we have a couple of people. So let's see. Avienda says, used our CSR credit at Amazonia in Washington, D.C. over Thanksgiving, and the food was amazing. Super hard to use the credit, though, since that is a 3-hour drive for us. Oh, yeah. So that's good. Well, it's every 6 months, though, right? So that means that would you drive there twice a year? Or would you want to, right? I guess is kind of a question. So yeah, it's definitely not as difficult to use as I originally had thought, but it's definitely not something that I would say, oh my God, I have to have this card for it. Particularly when you're paying what, $7.95. So that's, that's important. Okay. So one of the things that I love about this too is the credit. So the edit selection. So this is basically, they're kind of changing this, which is really great. So they have the $500 edit, but then there's the extra $250 credit now. So that's solid. So in between that one, and if you can get value from the dining one, then I can see us being in the ballpark of covering that. Now you do get access to, so the priority pass, I don't really place that much value on, certainly not $469. TSA pre-check, that's just table stakes at this point. So the Apple TV and Apple Music subscription. So my wife, she does pay for Apple Music and the single version, because I'm a Spotify. So that would actually result in real world savings. Apple TV, we don't use. Dash Pass membership, we do use it, but we do currently get it from the Chase Sapphire Preferred. The DoorDash promos, I would never use. I'm not going to, like, maybe the $5 every month, but so $60, but I'm never going to use the groceries or the retail orders. for through DoorDash. I'm never going to use the Lyft. StubHub I might use actually. Okay, so it's not a terrible card. I just and the multipliers. We got to talk about the multipliers, right? The 4x direct on hotels booked directly is great because I currently have the Ritz-Carlton card and the Hilton Aspire card. But if I were to like stay at an IHG, right? So the Kimpton that we're staying at, like I would want to put down like the City Strata Premier for 3x on that one. But if I had this card, that would give me a little bit more flexibility. And then, I might actually put more dining spend on this card too. Well, okay, you would think that, but I don't actually use the Chase Sapphire Preferred card for that. So yeah. Yeah, so that's fair. Yeah, no, that's true, Vandersar. The multipliers are still better than the platinum, right? So the platinum, like I've definitely like I've gotten 5x from booking directly, but you have to do the prepaid rate, which can be kind of a problem, right? And then you have the 5x on the airlines, which is nice, but then it's 1x for everything else. And so I think American Express, like what their perfect world would be, everyone just like, okay, we're going to be okay with only getting 1x on every purchase and just using my platinum card. Where I feel like Chase is definitely a little bit better on that point. It makes more sense. I will say that. So that's fair. Let's see. Yeah, the conversation's starting to pop off again. Avienda. Actually, no. So Kara said private non-medical companies not get my biometrics. Definitely a good point. Used my clear at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. The line was shorter. Okay, that's good to know. QC Man wants to know if they still search your bags or if it's just a shorter line. Vanders, I used CSR credit in Chicago pretty easily. There are plenty of places, even the few that we were already go to and loved. Okay, well, that's awesome. That's good to know. Actually, I haven't been to Chicago. I really want to go to Chicago. I might have to make something like that happen sometime. LG, after my short but needed visit to Orlando, I saw what you meant by you being able to use a resort credit for the Aspire card. Definitely tougher in Southern California. Yeah, let's go ahead and switch topics a little bit. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Hilton Resort credit. So let's take a look at the Hilton Resort list. So here's the thing. So you can go to Hilton and actually just so as you're searching for a location, you can just search for resorts. The only problem is that can most likely fit all of the restaurants that we're looking at, but it doesn't necessarily cover all of them, right? And or maybe some things could be on that aren't actually on the actual resort list. So you do actually have to look at the specific resort list. So there's a website just about telling you which hotels are eligible for the Aspire credit in particular. And so you can take a look. And so it actually lists it by hotel like brand, which is really, really huge. So if we take a look here, you can see for Conrad, there's a Conrad Orlando, which is really, really solid right here. But you also have a lot of other Conrads. So you have the Conrad Tulum, Conrad Rabat Arizona, Punta de Mita, Maldives, Las Vegas at Resorts World. That could be also a good one. We have a couple of others. So Fort Lauderdale Beach actually is nice too. So that is a good hotel, though. You do probably have to fight with the general manager a little bit. I'm still salty about that. All right, Curio, we have a couple. You can see here's a Key West one, which is actually not that bad. Lookout Mountain. So there's that. Hollywood Beach. Let's see. Resort Hollywood. Okay. Let's see. Marathon. Not bad. St. Lucia. Hotel del Coronado. That's actually a nice one. But yeah, so you have a lot of other ones. So La Quinta Resort and Club. Yeah, that's actually there's a La Quinta, I think on the coast here near me that actually is one as well. Let's see. That is wild. Okay. And then let's see. We actually have Hampton. There's a couple Hamptons. There's a couple DoubleTrees actually. So there's a Tampa Bay North Resort, Fort Lauderdale Beach actually. So this is actually down the street from the Fort Lauderdale Conrad, which is actually not that bad. A little bit cheaper there, which is nice. So Hilton Myrtle Beach, you can go to Myrtle Beach. You have the DoubleTree by Hilton at SeaWorld. That's actually a really nice DoubleTree. Fun fact, my wife and I stayed there after our wedding. And so they have a new tower that's kind of, new. It was new 6 years ago. But we actually stayed there and we had the honeymoon suite. And so we had a 2 bedroom suite that overlooked like the SeaWorld park and everything. That was really nice. They really gave us a nice little upgrade for that. So that's a good one. The DoubleTree Hilton Park City is actually not that bad either. It's on the list of places you can go to when you make a timeshare resort booking as well, actually, I believe. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. And then, of course, the Waldorf. The Waldorf in, I did not know this. The Waldorf Astoria at Versailles actually is on the resort list. It wasn't before. This is amazing because my wife and I, we want to go to Paris again. So that actually could be really good. And then, of course, the Waldorf Astoria in Park City, really, really nice hotel. You can stay there great for points, actually. Orlando's there and then a couple of others. So that is really good to know. And, of course, Rome Cavalieri is really nice as well. So yeah, they have a lot of really good hotels, really easy to search. So that's important to note. Avienda is saying, can you use grocery credit for food at Sheets? That's also a really great point. I have heard a number of people say that before. So that's good. Vandersar, the multipliers is still better than the platinum. Absolutely. You're definitely right there. Let's see. KRS, I do not go to steakhouses like I used to. It's so easy now to get Prime or even Wagyu delivered to your house. Same for great wines and whiskeys. Yeah, no, that is definitely a good point. There's increasingly fewer reasons to actually go out to eat. A friend of mine, I was staying at a friend of mine's house, we were going to dinner, and he had actually dry aged his own steak. And it was so good. He had a nice slice of ribeye. It was insanely good. So that is important. That's cool too. So we're going to actually go, there we go. We're going to change our background lighting. There we go. So we're going to change that out a little bit. All right. Let's go ahead and go back into the chats a little bit. Stacy's Travel and Points, open table dining, finally open more local restaurants for me. Still an hour away, but the edit credit side, nothing working for me into that 2026. That's sad. And I feel like that's kind of one of those credits that actually makes a big difference, right? I feel like it's one of those where if you can get easy access to it, that makes the card a lot easier to stomach, right? Between if you can use the edit collection credits, which are still hard to do, right? But if you can use an edit collection, if you can use the dining hotels, like I can get, you can pick and choose maybe 1 or 2 more credits that actually make sense to you and make that card make sense. But I feel like if you can't make the dining credit work for you, or if it doesn't work organically, then that could be kind of a big kind of breaking point for that card. Stacy says, I actually had my daughter-in-law use the open table dining at a Chicago restaurant, bought a gift card online and it credited. Wow. Okay. That's good to know. Really, really good to know. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's see here. I think we got, we got a new channel member. Thanks so much. Gentleman Explorer just became a YouTube member. I appreciate you. And the Source King says, QC Man 2000, yes, they still search the bags. There's a shorter line due to clear requirement. Yeah, I would imagine they probably do still have to search the bags, but like the identification being a little bit better, I guess. So that's helpful. Okay, so that is the City card. That's the Chase card. Let's go on to the City Strata Elite now. So, Rewards Master actually just recently did a video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it looks really, really interesting about the City Strata Elite. And is it the best card of the year? And it could be if it works out for you. They have interesting kind of multipliers. Let's get into it. So they have here. If we take a look at so they still have the 100,000 point bonus up, which is great, but so they say $500 or $1,500 in value. The $300 annual hotel credit, you do have to stay 2 nights or more, but it's more open. It just has to be booked through City Travel, which City Travel is not terrible, right? The annual splurge credit, I'm actually kind of excited about. Earn up to $200 per calendar year in statement credits on your choice of up to 2 of the following brands: First Dibs, American Airlines, Exclusions Apply, Best Buy, Future Personal Training, and Live Nation. I can imagine that the top ways to use this credit would be American Airlines, Best Buy, and then Live Nation. So that one seems fairly decent to get value from. The Black Lane credit thing, so I'm actually someone who purchased a kind of a transfer from the hotel in Heathrow to our hotel, or from the airport in Heathrow to our hotel in central London. And we actually sprang for like the black car, right? So we did, I think it was It ended up being a Mercedes S Class for my wife and I. And I want to say it was like 80, $90 for that. We ended up tipping a little bit more too, but honestly, like having that kind of treatment is not bad. So I would definitely not say I would definitely say that's not a terrible credit. The Priority Pass Select membership, yeah, don't really care. It has to be on there, right? But it's not enough for me to like, oh, I need to get the card for the Priority Pass Select membership, right? The Admirals Club Lounge passes, the 4 day passes, I feel like should probably have been a little bit better. That's just it's a little frustrating. To only get 4 lounges, like you're paying $595 right now. Now that's not nearly as expensive as the other cards that we talked about, but I do feel like you kind of do need to make sure that you're getting that value. And I feel like 4 lounge passes for these Admirals Club lounges isn't doing it. So I don't know. This card, it's simpler, right? It's definitely simpler. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think is the best one? The Platinum card, session expired, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, or the City Strata Elite so far this year? Because we had 2 significant refreshes, and then we also had a completely new card. So let me know. What do you guys think is best? I think, well, I guess I'm kind of, well, okay. So I definitely like it's clear that I'm a fan of American Express, given that I personally have the Platinum card and the Business Platinum card. But I did try for the City Stride Elite card, so he just did not approve me, and I decided not to do that whole applying via the link thing, and so that was also kind of a key point to consider as well. So I didn't get the card. I definitely wanted the card. I would have taken 100,000 points. But so like the City Stride Elite, it doesn't offend me as much as the Chase kind of does, but I can definitely see where Spencer's coming from and actually kind of making that work. All right, so we've talked about a lot of cards. We talked about the Platinum card. We talked about the Chase Sapphire Reserve. We talked a little bit about the City Stride Elite, and we also kind of touched on the Aspire card. If there is another card that you want us to cover before we kind of close out in the next 10 or minutes or so, let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to kind of return to the chat and see what you guys think. All right. KRS is saying, I dry age my steak at home too. I buy whole loins from Costco and Sam's Club that are prime grade, 35 plus days. I process them into steaks, vacuum seal, and freeze them. Wow, that's amazing. It is incredible that kind of that it's possible to do that. I love that. Like, that is incredible. All right. Romanic. Didn't show at Walmart for 10 plus years. The only thing I bought was fireworks for New Year. Okay, yeah, there you go. We actually were pretty liberal in Florida when it comes to fireworks, so you can actually go down the street whenever there's 4th of July, or even for New Year's Eve, you can get like tents, and then you go get mortars and things like that. And so you can actually get a pretty decent amount of fireworks in Florida. So we don't have to buy ours at Walmart, but that's good. That's good. Chad wants to come over and try some dry aged meat. Yeah, you definitely have to. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, cool. Sure. VCO depends. CSE for the average traveler and salary, but for the true affluent travelers and people who would use the credit naturally, the Platinum basically pays you to keep it. Yeah, I agree. And I was thinking about this too. So I was trying to think about, how to justify having or keeping the Platinum, right, past the first year. And I was thinking about, okay, so my wife and I, when we set our budget out, we have a certain amount for food. We have a certain amount for travel, things like that are actually already kind of put aside from the budget, right? And so what these credits do is they allow this card to fit in that kind of a budget to a better degree, right? Because if I'm using my Uber Eats credit for food, if I'm using my Grubhub credits for food, then that makes some of those annual fees fit in my budget to where, like, okay, I'm not viewing it as I'm paying $895. I'm viewing it as I'm paying $650 or whatever it is, for that. And then so if I'm able to use those credits for the travel budget, then that helps kind of make more sense too. But again, you do have to have that money at any given month. And so that's kind of a big deal, right? Because if you have the Platinum card, you are agreeing to pay Amex $895 plus $200 if you have an authorized user, unless you have the Morgan Stanley card, per year, right? And so you have to be able to withstand paying just a random extra $1,000 every month or once a year. And so that's kind of a big deal too. So yeah, no, I agree with that, Servicio. For most people, the city ecosystem has become very easy to get value from when it comes to the from domestic flights, right? You have JetBlue at 1-to-1, you have American at 1-to-1, you have a lot of different options, and you also have transfer partners and Air France and Virgin if you want Delta flights. And then for hotels, you have I Prefer at 1-to-4. You can get a nice hotel room for 12,000 city points, and that is insane. That's really nice. The choice privileges thing is really nice. Now their hotels are not the best, right? But if you're looking for a place to be able to do a family road trip or something, right, that's gonna never steer you wrong, right? So I definitely get with that point. That's a good point. Stacy travel points currently loving the CSE. I am able to triple dip. Also loving the multipliers on the City Strata cards in general for future. Just need to get with them with the yeah, no, 100%. The City Strata Premier is an amazing card. I love that it does gas. I love that it does groceries. I love that it does dining. I'm taking my wife, so our anniversary is tomorrow, and we're going to Fleming's. And I'm going to. We have a couple gift cards that have been gifted to us, and I really haven't decided. Am I going to use my gold card or my City Strata Premier? I mean, I'm going to be giving up that 1 point, but I'm really trying to make sure that I'm able to use those AA miles. So I might actually use my City Strata Premier at Fleming's tomorrow. So that's good. As a new Platinum owner, I've enjoyed it, and it worked better for me than the CSR and City Card. Okay, that's good to know, LG. Have you been to a Centurion Lounge yet? Because that one in Atlanta is something else, I'll tell you. I love it. QC me. All right. Go for the luxury card. There we go. Let's see. My dog would hate Florida. Yeah, no, that's Sadie is not a fan. We used to have, so before I met my wife, she had 2 dogs. She was really into the Notebook when she got them. So Allie was the girl and Noah was the boy. And she was just terrified of thunderstorms, which is sad also for Florida because we have a lot of those. And then also for fireworks. And so I remember the very first time that she and had really bonded with me is she actually came to me during a rainstorm and, was like, actually came to cuddle with me. I was like, wow, okay. I've actually made it. So, Ronald, any good steakhouse recommendations in Dallas? Well, I will say that I actually haven't been to Dallas in a while, ever since Luby's was a thing. And so I really wouldn't have any direct recommendations myself. But I have heard a lot of people, what's the one that's, I don't know. I can't really say. But if anybody knows any good steak restaurants in Dallas, let me know. One, QC Man has music to sludge his ears. Yeah, exactly. Kara, so you can dry age pork loins too. They come out even better than steak. I love a good pork loin. I love that. That's amazing. QC Man, yeah. Are you considering the Morgan Stanley Platinum now? It's relatively easy to get. Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So I actually opened up a what's the account? The not Expedia. No, I opened up one of the accounts and it never went through. And so like I called them and I was like, what I have to do in order to actually fully open this account? I have to fax them a hand printed note with my social security number and just the words activate my account. And it'll apparently that will do it. So I haven't done it yet. But I have considered doing the Morgan Stanley card because I went through the E-Trade. That's what it is. I went through the motions of actually trying to open up the E-Trade account. I'm going to send them a letter on Monday, but I don't like the not having access to the upgrade downgrade thing, but I will say that like I'm going to be getting my wife an authorized user card. So having the Morgan Stanley card always be there is definitely something I'm considering to save the $200 because I could also have a second personal platinum card and I'd still get a pretty decent hit at the benefits because Resy's pretty easy here. The hotel benefits are really easy to use. So like having 2 personal platinum cards would not be the end of the world for me. So yeah, I am definitely considering it. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because I can't until I get the whole E-Trade thing figured out. QC Man, happy anniversary. Thank you. Yeah, you guys got married between Christmas and New Year's. Very festive. Yeah, so our December 28th, right? We actually had Christmas trees on the stage behind us and like it was kind of a really like I think her colors were like kind of a more of like a crimson, and so yeah, it looked good. So yeah, but anyway, thanks so much, QC man. All right, so we're closing in on about 2 hours, so I appreciate everyone being here. I do want to make sure we did have a really great live actually. So Vincent came on here with $5. Glenn Turin actually became a YouTube member, so really appreciate you. Juan Garcia gave $5 as well, as did Big Kurt. Thanks so much to you as well. QC Man gave $2. Really appreciate you as well, QC Man. And Gentleman Explorer became a YouTube member. So all of you guys have been amazing. So thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, though, because I probably have to take my wife to dinner now because it's been a while, so she's probably hungry. But anyway, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I appreciate you watching 55 people all this long. You guys are amazing. I never really thought when I started this whole YouTube thing that I would be able to say that this many people would be, in a live stream. Like when people, when people were talking about that, like, trying live stream, like nobody else going to come watch me, but they were. So, but yeah, Karis. Okay, so Matt Claus is going live soon. Yeah, so I'll duck out then. He's awesome. LG, thanks so much for the two spot. You're amazing, LG. But yeah, no, definitely let me know. My email address again is in the description. Reach out and we'll get together when you're back here in February. I really looking forward to that. Matt, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you all. Appreciate you, and I guess I'll see you next year. So, thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.